Quite a nice good morning with HT there. Always exciting, the morning drives, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. Well, it's like that the whole time on drive, but in the mornings it's especially so. Lots of things could have changed during the night. So I always love going out in the mornings. I know HT does as well. We're very lucky this morning that we could start with this beautiful leopard. He hasn't really moved much, eating a bit, looking around a bit. We just heard a hyena calling quite a bit closer, I would say, at Trias Dam perhaps, 300 yards or so, a couple hundred yards away from here. So leopard listened to it, didn't pay too much attention. He knows he's got a big tree right behind him. It'll take him less than half a second to be up there, so he's not too concerned, but there are hyenas around, and as I said, whoa, and elephant, exactly. That's a big noise coming there from elephant, and the branches you're hearing, that's coming from another vehicle. That's Ephraim, Cheetah Plains Lodge, coming to join us. Very lucky and very happy guest this morning on the other game drive vehicles. These guys only have 1 or 2 or 3 days, 4 days, depending on how long they stay, to see these kind of things. So don't have the opportunity to come on many drives like you do. So it's a real treat seeing one of the most magnificent of the animals that you can see in Africa, especially in such a beautiful way as we do have this morning. Morning, Ephraim. I'm going to I'm going to make a little bit of space here for Ephraim. We've got another vehicle joining us, and we do work together here, so let's make a little bit of space for him so that they can see better, and also we can have a slightly different view. Simple. If I stop in front of you, do you? No, I'm just kidding. Well guys, we're just busy re-maneuvering a bit. Alright, sorry, a bit of moving there, but just making a little space for Ephraim as well to join so that he can see nicely. Still sort of the same situation we were a couple of minutes ago. Leopard just casually feeding on the last of the warthog carcass. We've heard some elephants in the distance, we've heard hyena, so we know there's some other big animals around. Lovely sounds here from the bird life around here. It's white-browed scrub robin doing its singing up the riverbed here. Honchi. Mampimpani Honchi. Oh, great question. Hello, Jeffrey. Actually, parts of Texas where you're from looks very similar to parts of Africa that I've been to as well. I haven't spent much time in Texas. I drove through there once years ago. But Jeffrey has just noticed the tail tip of that leopard just twitching a little bit, and just asking if what it's about. What is it showing, or what is it telling, or what is the message in it? And the tail tip of a leopard, I'm trying to think, I can't really compare it to something in a human. I guess you could compare it to the fingertips of a human perhaps, but also some facial expressions. The tail tip can convey a lot of messages for us as observers, but even more so for leopard to other leopards. So a mother with cubs, for instance, that white tail tip very clearly visible, so the cubs can easily follow it. I'm our side we can see when the leopard is excited or when it's curious about something. You see the tail tip a little bit, but when they get very excited, for instance when they're busy hunting, just before they pounce, that tail tip is almost, it's not twitching, it's almost vibrating, almost like the rattle of a rattlesnake. You know, it can almost be, you know, at a high frequency. Also, of course, a very practical aspect to the tail itself. Leopards have got rather heavy, quite muscular tails, so great for balance as a counterweight when they're busy climbing, so they can sort of correct their balance if need be with the tail. And then I've also watched them, often leopards use their tail in a very sensitive way as well. And this is when leopards bond with each other. In other words, mainly mother and cubs that you see it in, or siblings with each other. When they greet, those tails literally caress each other. They walk past each other and the tail curls around the body or around the neck, and it's beautiful to watch. I've often compared the tail of a leopard to the ostrich feathers back in the days, you know, when people wore big feathers in their hats and long swords. You know, the feathers were very elegant, I guess, and with leopard, it reminds me of that sometimes. But certainly a lot of expression and a lot of emotion almost, or the state of the leopard you can tell from the tail. One of the ways, which we don't see often from our side because they don't mind the vehicles, but if you get close to them on foot sometimes and they getting a bit agitated, that tail can sort of beat almost like a whip onto the ground as well. Same with lions, when they give you a mock charge or a charge, it's you do notice the tail during those conditions. You do notice the message there, I guess. Guy, there's a leopard. There's a leopard in front of us. There's a hyena coming from the right. The vehicle on the right-hand side, they just spotted the hyena. Something's going to happen here. I expect that leopard to flash up that tree, so be ready. Yeah, there he's heard it. Yeah, he's going to grab it. Watch, watch, watch. This is going to be quick. Oh, and there's the hyena. Just like that. No stress though. The leopard didn't tense. He didn't worry. He knows what he can do. He had his plan. He's left something down there for the hyena as well, so now we've got two happy predators. Guys, and this is a spotted hyena. If you don't know all the different predators, you get a couple of different hyena species. We actually started with a question the other day and we never finished it. We'll do this a bit later today, how many hyena species we get. In fact, you might as well let us know now. How many hyena species do we get in Africa, and how many hyena species do we get potentially here at Kunyuma and Kruger National Park area? You can let us know by hashtag Safari Live if you want to tweet, or email it straight through to questions@wildearth.tv. The same avenues you use for asking questions or leaving comments or just saying good morning. Remember, we used to, in the early days, we'd often have the morning starting, we just get mails coming through. Good morning, how are you? Look forward to the drive. So how many hyena species do we get in Africa, and how many hyena species can we see down here in the Lowveld? Well, this warthog will probably be used, almost all of it will be used. Maybe the skull will be left. Maggie, you're just asking any parts of the leopard, any parts of the warthog, the leopard won't eat. Oh, listen to that! It's beautiful sound. You can see the hyena is really listening. The leopard's not really paying attention now. He's up in a tree. He knows that sound was a hyena. He knows not to worry about hyena. They're not really good at climbing trees. But Maggie, just to finish your question, the leopard will leave certain of the bigger bones, sort of the big femur bones and the skull, the tusks obviously. Although this was a baby warthog, there are no tusks there yet. But if the kill drops out of the tree, hyenas will eat almost everything of that warthog. Being a young warthog, the skull even is not that thick and big yet. So in this case, I think probably everything other than the teeth, the jawbone, sort of the really hard parts of the skull will be left. Almost all the rest of it will be used by either the leopard or the hyena. There's another hyena call. I don't think that hyena has left. I think he's just gone down into the drainage line to see if there's any other scraps that have fallen down from the tree. So just getting the little bits of breakfast he can. Here's the hyena coming back again. He's just done a little circuit around the tree. He knows, again from previous experience, that if a leopard is eating up in the tree, inevitably little bits and snippets of food will fall down. So he just did a quick check. Hyenas have got exceptional sense of smell, even compared to other wild animals or other predators. So he would have just walked around the tree and he would have quickly sniffed out anything that was worthwhile eating. And now he's going to use the greatest attribute of all hunters. He's going to be patient and wait for some more. Well, good morning to Ellen. Ellen is one of our good friends that have been coming on drives for a long time. And like so many of you, we all know each other. That sense of community is really great. So Ellen, nice to know you on drive with us, and great to be able to say good morning as well. It's not always we get the opportunity to do so. Just asking where we are for many of you, this is maybe one of your first drives. The big answer to that is we're in South Africa, southern end of Africa, in Kunyuma Game Reserve, which is part of the Greater Kruger National Park. But for those of you like Ellen that know the area intimately by now, to be specific, we are about, I'd say, 250, 300 yards downstream or downhill from Treehouse Dam, which is towards the east, next to a big bourbon tree right on the drainage line. So almost exactly due east of Treehouse Dam. The hyenas that we can hear calling, just listen quickly. Of course, they stop calling when you say that. But you'll hear them again just now. That whoo in the distance. Those hyenas are at the hyena den, so they're about northwest from us.
Give me the camera test.
Well, you never know. It's not impossible that there are more hyenas to join. Over the last few minutes after this hyena joined, obviously, Kunyuma the leopard back up in the tree. The hyena's done his little sort of sweep circuit, just walking around, seeing if there's any scraps to pick up. Sorry guys, let me take my jacket off. We've gone from a cool morning to it becoming warm very rapidly now. The sun is definitely on today. Well, it's not impossible for other hyenas to join, although the communication we're hearing is coming from the den side. And there's not really much food here anyway. There's a few snacks, you know, little, half a banana kind of thing. Not something that's going to fill up the hyena, but certainly something hyena will be able to utilize. Oh, hey! That's what he was waiting for.
It took off.
You know, there's a lesson there. If Mr. Miyagi was on safari, he would say, you know, food comes to those that wait, kind of thing. Whether you're an antelope waiting for the rains, a leopard waiting for the pounce, or a hyena waiting for the food to fall in your lap. Just have to know when to wait and where to wait. That's great. There's a bit of a discussion going on Twitter. Hashtag Safari Live if you want to join it. As to the hyena question from earlier, how many hyena species we get in Africa and how many hyena species here at Juma or sort of this part of the Kruger Park. And one answer was 3, of which 2 are possibly found here. I mean, theoretically we should be able to find aardwolf here as well. I can't see why not, but let's get back to that in a bit. I might be giving away a little something there. The hyena species we can find here, the spotted hyena, quite numerously and quite common. We see them often. Not common, but I mean occurring fairly frequently. And then we do see brown hyena here, but it's once every blue moon. We saw it once live on WildEarth years ago. And I think that was the first time in over a decade. But guys, you get 4 species of hyena in Africa. I think Chris had that. I know many others had that as well. The 4th species doesn't actually have the name hyena attached to the name. So let's start with the clearest ones, or the most obvious ones. We've got spotted hyena that we've been looking at. Where is he going? Especially this leopard, you know, he could just be getting up to funny business. Maybe he's just going to try and, I don't know, jump on the hyena. Not really, but he's a bit of an odd cat sometimes. So spotted hyena, brown hyena that we have seen here, not far from here, actually close to Treehouse Dam. Striped hyena, which is more northern Africa, it's not really around here. Very similar to the brown hyena. Whoop, almost a leopard out of the tree there. It's very funny if you see a leopard fall out of the tree. They feel a little bit sort of embarrassed, I think. I've seen them look around hoping that no one saw it happen. Oh, I wonder if he's going to come down. It's not the greatest tree that for sleeping in. Oh, look at that, beautiful. Maybe he's trying to get that food back. And then just to finish, the 4th species of hyena there is the aardwolf. So it's the spotted hyena, brown hyena, striped hyena, all very descriptive ones, brown, spotted and striped. And the 4th one, the hyena's still down there, the leopard's just checking him out. He's a bit like, hey man, I'm faster than you. The 4th one is the aardwolf, which is also a hyena species, part of the same family, but not really a scavenger in any way. In fact, aardwolf has got very, very specifically adapted or evolved teeth, and they eat termites. They're specialists at eating all other insects as well. They'll also eat other insects and ants and things, but termites is what they specialize on. You get them a lot in the Kalahari, sort of your savanna type environments, not quite as thick and as lush as here. Oh, he's snarling at the hyena. He's like, hey, this could be interesting. A bit of interspecies, let's call it awareness rather than rivalry. Amazing. It's always interesting when you see two different species interact, especially if they both predators, both have their strengths and weaknesses. We had a question from the vehicle just now, and the name has just slipped my mind. I'll get it again just now, but I'm just asking how high can a hyena jump? Well, that's rather specific body shape. Big shoulders, lower back, which is adapted for long distance sort of trotting, or like a sort of a loping run, as well as being able to carry heavy carcasses quite a distance. But that body design is not really great for jumping. In fact, they can't even jump as high as a dog of similar size. I've seen them jump a little bit, sort of more rearing onto the back legs, but jumping is not a big part of their sort of physical forte. I think the question was aimed at the point or the fact that, you know, could he jump and grab the food from the tree? But they're not really good at that. They can sort of get as high as they can stand on their back legs, a little bit higher than that. Both grooming. The hyena doing a bit of grooming, leopard doing a bit of grooming. Morning, Marco. I think we might have a similar sort of sense of humor. I was going to refer to it as, you know, bacon breakfast a bit earlier, and I thought it might be a bit, you know, cheesy. Marco, I presume you agree with the pun in that, because we obviously have a similar take on things. But Marco just asking, how far can they smell that? How far can predators smell the bacon, or in this case the warthog, the carcass from a hunt, especially referring to the hyenas? Hyenas have got an exceptional sense of smell, something I think, I'm sure, is still beyond what we can really comprehend. You know, I can't even think of a good analogy of it. It would be like saying, yeah, and I can't compare it to something, but they have a sense of smell that is beyond of what we can imagine. You know, it is, if we were to go back to the libraries of Alexandria a couple of hundred years ago, and we compare that to modern day Google and Wikipedia, maybe it's like that. Back in the day, there was a library that you could go find a book in if you knew where to look and what you're looking for and understood the question. These days, you punch it in and you get it. I think it's a bit like that. Now, hyenas walk around and they just pluck little bits of information out of the air. But they could smell a carcass like this. I mean, obviously, there's many things playing roles in the conditions in terms of the temperature, the wind direction. Is there a breeze? Is it gusty? Is it hot? Is it cold? All those things play a role. How fresh the carcass is. But hyenas can smell carcasses kilometers away. We've got a couple of game drive vehicles moving. That's the sounds you're hearing. Making space for the other guys. Very nice of them, letting us enjoy the sighting for so long. Cheers, guys. Enjoy, eh? See you another time. Bye-bye. Here at the moment. So we're going to move just now as well, just to try and see if we can see Kunyuma. He's gone into the deep dip there. But just while the vehicles are moving, Ephraim and Aubrey are moving out. I think we've got one other vehicle coming to join us. Maybe just a quick background again for those of you that don't know this reserve that well yet and how it works, but it's a private reserve, and therefore we can control the sightings nicely. 2 or 3 vehicles in a sighting only. So many benefits that comes with that, and the big benefit is the intimacy, the beautiful way we experience these animals. Speaking of animals, speaking of experiencing them, while this leopard has disappeared, there's something much bigger than this, just as interesting.